In the last video, I was discussing about the human memory and human imagination. We have three elements. One is the physical senses, that is with the body, and those senses are actually sensing the environment around us and sensing the objects around us and giving us a feedback that things exist, things are there in a living form, in a non-living form, physical things are there. अगर ये सेंसेस ना होते तो जो हमारे इंद्रिय है, अगर ये सेंसेस ना होते तो हम लोग जो बाहर की दुनिया है, we could not sense, we could not even figure out whether those objects exist or not, whether we exist or a body, physical body exists or not. So that physical body, that senses and the environment together, everything making the present. When we call present, when we call we are living, when we call things exist, it is this moment where I am physically available, my senses are available, and other people also having the senses and body and all the other things functioning. Other creatures, other plants, non-living things have the physical existence. We touch them, we smell them, we taste them, and we feel that they exist. So senses have great role in our experience building. We as human being, we feel that we exist because of our senses, and we can relate to the people, those who are in coma, like their senses, they are there but they are not functioning, or they do not actually gathering information through their senses. They are in another state. Maybe they can talk about when they come out of coma. People, those who come out of coma, they can talk about whether they actually perceived the world through the senses, or what were the experience of being in coma, whether it is void and null. They did not have any kind of sensation, they did not have any kind of realization. So it depends on the people what they experience. We cannot say that because we were not been in that condition anytime anymore. Anyway, so physical condition, present, physically existing situation, physically existing world, it is existing because I am existing, it is existing because my senses are available, active. Now we get so many information through our senses, and it is recorded in our memory. It is creating so many sensations, different kind of like different kind of experience we are gathering through our senses. The next thing is the memory. Memory, which is some happened thing, so already happened, and we already experienced, we saw, we perceived, and that is there as stack heap of information, understanding. So this is the second thing. Third thing is the imagination. Imagination, or creating thoughts out of the memory. Sometimes it is dynamic, sometimes we manually create it, we involve ourselves in that thought creation mechanism, or some thoughts created out of nothing, out of the memory which is already there. So that memory is the foundation of creating the thoughts, creating the imagination. So there are three things. Physically, only the physical presence and the senses and the real objects, real world exist, and the present moment it is there. When we actually cross that timeline, we just pass the timeline, everything become memory. See, I am 37. So when I am 37, for last 37 years I have been collecting information, I've been collecting experience, and everything is stored as information, data, memory. So this is one part of me, and presently I am utilizing my senses, or my senses are active. It is a second in a different dimension. Third is when I have a memory and I am actively those memories are playing inside and creating imagination, creating some futuristic things, creating some plan, creating some kind of fear, creating some anxiety, stress, tension, everything from the memory something is projected. Suppose if there is a 2 and 3, it can be 2 plus 3. My imagination can create it 2 plus 3, 5. My imagination can create 2 minus 3, that is a minus 1. Sometime my imagination, out of this memory, out of this information 2 and 3, my imagination can create it 2 and 2 into 3, 2 multiplied by 3, it is equal to 6. So all the time it will not be 6, it will not be minus 1 or plus 5. Something will happen with this information. Based on this information I can predict something, I can infer something, but what we actually feel that it is going to happen, 2 and 3 will be multiplied, I am predicting, or I can see, or I can actually imagining. So when I imagine something will happen, this is called predictions, this is called overthinking, this is called stress, this is called anxiety. If it is in controlled manner, you call it a very good quality. If it is not, it is out of control, when you cannot control the projection, assumption, this go out of boundary, we call it mental health issues. According to me, I am perceiving the things like that. So see, only 2 and 3 can create any number of information in the future. We can predict. Nothing is happening, but we are just predicting because the information is there. So for 37 years I have been collecting information, or my body, my senses, my is through my senses, so many information are being recorded in my memory. Now how many combinations can be there, you can imagine. Like this moment presently, out of this image, out of that memory, how many projections can be made, how many assumptions can be made. So those assumptions, those predictions are actually making us suffer, making us uncomfortable, making us anxious, making us fearful. So we are actually suffering the memory, we are suffering the imagination. So in reality, there is no past, there is no future, only there is a present. Like I'm existing, I'm here, so this is my life, I am existing. If I'm not here, so whether there is a past, present or future, that doesn't make any sense. When I'm existing, when I'm alive, it makes sense. So when I'm alive means every moment I am alive, and everything becoming past because becoming a memory. So if we see this through the present context, you will find no past exist. If you see through present towards future, there is no future, because in reality there is something cannot exist which is not physically existing. So how can past exist? It is already happened, it means it has no existence. Something will happen, we don't know, we are just projecting, we are just making some assumptions. So the future again is not non-existing. So why do we worry about something which is not existing? So it means what? We are creating in our mind. So when we say we are creating the past and future in our mind, that is a true statement. It is existing. So our mind is also a dimension, we cannot deny. So when something is created in our mind, we cannot deny. So in reality there is no past and present, but within me there is a past, there is a future. In reality only present exists, there is no future, there is no past, because for the world there is no past. Everything is a real thing, everything is existing. Something which is not existing, the world do not consider, because it is not existing. Something, suppose I have nothing on my hand, if I do not have anything in my hand, so it is not existing. How can you defend with something that yes, there can be this, there can be that, there were these are the things. Like suppose I am holding this cup, Now this is the present and it is existing. So after some time I do not hold this cup. So now if I say that there was a cup, so it is like it is not existing, it doesn't make any sense. Now if I say after some time there will be a cup in my hand, I'll be holding some cup, again it is not existing. So if we if we are very much concerned, if we become very much concerned about the making things in our mind about the past and about the future, then like every one of us will suffer something which is not existing, something that is not in reality, not in physical context. So this is not true. Something which is not existing is not true. But truth has different dimensions. Like when you see this in your mind, when you see this in your thoughts, when you can experience something happened and it is there in me, the reminder, the residue, the the ashes, you can say, something which is burned. Now we have the ashes, though ashes physically existing, but in a metaphoric way I'm saying that ashes, like something happened, something already happened. So we can create in our mind, we can see this in our mind, in our memory. So that's why it is existing. So physically only present, no past, no future. But when you go inside, within you, you have this two dimension. One is your past, one is your future. What is past? That is the memory heap, and something which is projected towards future, something will happen, you are predicting, or your mind is predicting, as making assumptions, like a kind of a mapping. As I said, 2 and 3 can be mapped to 5, can be mapped to 6, can be mapped to -1, can be mapped to some other things, because these are information already existing in our mind as memory, as information, as knowledge, as understanding, and as experience. So it is a heap of information. Now can we put all these things outside? No. We cannot make this existent. The future, can we make it? No. But it is existing within. So now what we are suffering, or what we are actually confused about, is about the past and the future, or the memory and the imagination. Because the very basic example, suppose I am in this room right now, nothing is troubling me because no one is here. So I have nothing physical threat or anything that is actually troubling me. I have good body, mental health, physical health, everything is okay, like I am healthy. So when I am healthy, when I am okay, when the external environment is also okay, so it means this present condition is very good for me. So now if everything is okay, so I should be okay. But if I have some confusion in my mind, if I have some fear in my mind, if I have some anxiety or hopelessness, low feeling, everything in my mind, it means what? Something happening within. So what? It is not a physical thing happening within, it is the memory which is playing the game. Because I have the 37 years of memory which is stored within me, and they are trying to make so many assumptions in the future, and I am busy with that. My focus is on that, my consciousness is focused on that, my attention is focused on that. So I am just, again I am also busy with the projection, I am also busy with the assumption. So this is actually making us unhappy, like distress, tension, anxiety, everything comes from that. Now the question comes, if these things are very much making trouble, so why nature created those things? Are those things are very important, like the memory heap and the imagination and the presence? See, if presence or the present with the senses and the physical world, if only this would be the truth, or this would be the reality or the dimension, then everybody would be happy. But if it is the only thing, without memory, without imagination, now think of the world, or think of yourself. Suppose you have gone to office, leaving your daughter behind at home. Now think of the situation. When you reached office, when you have memory, means you have a daughter, her name, her age, her face, where does she live, what is the road to the home. So this thing is there in your mind, every information is there in your mind as memory, that I said, that second dimension. Now something happened to your daughter, like suddenly got ill, now you got a call from home, so you have memory, so you can reach to your daughter, you have a daughter. Now if there is no memory in you, so now see the condition, somebody will call from your home and will say your daughter is sick. Now you will be saying, who are you? I don't know you, I don't have any daughter, I don't know whether I have a daughter or not, where to reach, what is the route, because you are living in present and you are not having the memory here. So you can understand what will happen to the people if we do not have that memory here. Now the imagination means, okay, we have memory, we have physical senses, now we are living our life, okay, somehow suppose we are eating and doing our things. So if there is no imagination, it means there is no plan, there is no future, there is no some point where we want to reach. It means what? Everything will stop. So it is the imagination or thought which is being created out of this memory, like driving us to go there, again driving us to go there. Whether there is a necessity going there, yes, otherwise the evolution would not happen, because it is just because of the tendency. So tendency is the some point you make and you reach there. This is the present, this is the future. Future is coming from your past and making some projections, or your and understanding analysis, and the some projection is made. So we are going towards that. It is a conscious process, and by most of the case it is a subconscious and compulsive process. So these two things are very, very important. So this is the second discussion that we can make, is the memory, the imagination and the present, the senses, this three dimension. We should not see everything together, and the necessity of those three things. The present, whether present is important, yes, you exist because of the present, you exist because of your senses. If your all the senses are not working, you can imagine 5 senses are not working. Suppose one sense do not work, you see what happened to people. We call them differently, we recognize them differently. If 2 senses do not work, 3 senses do not work, 4 senses do not work, 5 senses do not work. Now we think of this person who is in coma. It's like of kind of this kind of state. So no meaning of having this kind of life without senses, because you cannot perceive the world. So living is with the senses, with the body, with the memory and with the imagination. If we can term with these 3-4 things together, then we can understand how to actually make balance, how to actually work with these things. So this is the second video I made, and I will be uploading this, and let us know ourselves within, from within, from inside. Otherwise, there are so many challenges, as I said in the first video. If we do not know ourselves, how can we function? Otherwise we'll be always confused within. Thank you for watching. Thank you.